Today, we're gonna see if you can build a gaming PC using nothing but duct tape. This is a terrible idea, and it's probably gonna go very badly. I cannot believe how ridiculous that looks. Like, it really... Now, for all good tests, you need a nice baseline. So for this, I've actually run the PC fully assembled to see what kind of temperatures we get. And in terms of GPU temps, we're sitting at about 60°C. And when it comes to the CPU, we've been having an average of about 60°C. This is after about 20 minutes of running. So yeah, let's see how close we can get to that figure with our duct tape mounting. Now, the system that we're going to use for this terrible duct tape bondage idea is the old dirty Craigslist system that I cleaned passive-aggressively recently. I don't want to damage any fancy new hardware, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble this old system and then we're going to duct tape it back together. Not gonna need these pathetic things anymore. I've already used duct tape to attach the SSD, so that's like 50% of my job done. Now, after disassembling the system, I had a closer look at the retention mechanism for the CPU mounting, and it actually looks like it's removable, which got me thinking. I'm gonna remove that and then actually socket the CPU using duct tape, just to take it to the next level. Now that we have the entire PC disassembled, it's time for us to get started with some duct tape. Now, I'm going to be using scissors to cut the duct tape, which I guess is technically using a tool other than duct tape, but whatever. So we're going to start off with a strip like that. Okay, there we go. That's one corner down. Because the thing is, it's not like we're really even going to have like much mounting pressure keeping the CPU in the socket, so yeah, we're gonna have to hope that this is this is enough mounting pressure. Now, I'm not gonna lie, as far as socketing CPUs with duct tape goes, that is very professionally done. Look at that. We are making a little bit of contact with the IHS, which is unfortunate, but that CPU doesn't get too hot, so I'm hoping it's gonna be okay. That's quite confidence-inspiring. It is about as securely socketed as you'd want a CPU. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next step. Yeah, that looks fine. I'm happy with that. You know, we may be assembling a PC with duct tape, but we do at least want to do it with a little bit of pride, you know? I don't know, I'd say that looks like a fairly solidly mounted power supply. So now we need to move on to the next step, which is possibly the most concerning part. We're gonna have to mount the motherboard in the case. I really love the duct tape CPU. Cutting it a little bit thinner, so that, you know, it can kind of fit in the groove. Yeah, I'm just gonna... We don't want to cover the boot LEDs because we need those. Just cover a little bit of the heatsink, like that. Okay, there we go. That's not meant to be weight-bearing at all, just to kind of keep the motherboard in place so that it doesn't kind of swivel out like this. I don't think this is really going to do anything, but... This is starting to look real professional. Now we just need to see if the motherboard stays in place when we lift the case up. Gently does it. If anything, it actually feels sturdier using duct tape than it does if you mount it with screws. That looks pretty good. There we go. And that works, again, super well. This is actually going much better than I was expecting so far. So now let's mount this sucker. It's gonna be very difficult to tape it in a way that isn't gonna block at least a little bit of airflow through the radiator. Like I could kind of attach it over here, like along these bits, and leave the actual mounting holes for the side panel open. I'm kind of thinking that's going to be my best bet, to just tape it on here. This is a right struggle. It's already kind of in place. This tape is so dope. We're gonna stick it down as much as possible. There we go. The radiator is semi-mounted. It kind of feels relatively sturdy and it should stay in place. Again, it's actually slightly sturdier than it was before, because previously we could only use 2 screws in the top middle to mount it. So it doesn't feel too bad, but I do think the next step is to actually mount the pump block on the CPU. So I've applied the Thermal Grizzly thermal paste. I am also using the mounting bracket bits. I'm not going to screw it down, but I'm using it as a bit of a guide. That may be cheating a little bit, but we're still not technically using screws, I guess. Just stick it down over the RAM because I can't get it down in between the things. We're gonna have to hope that works. Oh no, that looks a little bit like a botched lobotomy to me. I don't think that's gonna work very well. But at this point, we're just gonna have to hope that it's fine. It's time for another test lift to see if everything we have so far can withstand the rigors of gravity. That looks perfectly fine. Okay, moving on to the next step. We are getting really close to it being done, and aside from it obviously looking very stupid, I'm actually quite impressed with how well it's turned out so far. It really has gone better than I was expecting it to. Although there is one very important part missing: the graphics card. At this point, I spent ages whining like a little baby, concerned about various ways in which my GPU cooler duct tape mounting could go wrong. But then I had a genius idea about how to tape on the cooler. Now I just had a genius idea about how to tape on this cooler. I'm gonna screw the cooler back on, so that while I'm doing the taping, I know that I have good thermal contact. And then, once I'm satisfied with my cooler tape job, I'll undo the screws, and then hopefully the tape will be able to maintain thermal contact. What did you do at work today, honey? Oh, I just duct taped a PC together. That actually seems to be working quite well. Like it is definitely hanging in there. So now we just need to drop it into the system, and then we should have a fully duct tape assembled PC. And then we just need to see if it catches on fire or not, I guess. Oh yes, there we go. That is a spectacular looking specimen of a gaming PC. I cannot believe how ridiculous that looks. Like, really. My main concern here is that when we start doing thermal tests, that the glue in the duct tape is gonna start heating up and then letting go. So my money is on that graphics card cooler just dropping off the graphics card mid-benchmark. That's what I think is gonna happen here. But maybe it works out. Let's see. It's not firing up. Let me just do that, and then I'm gonna jump it. Because I think I messed up the power button. Oh no, it's not working. Oh no, something somewhere is not happy. My mouse is lighting up, we definitely have power, but it's not responding at all to me jumping the power.
A few moments later.
Everything's plugged in properly. I was looking for any kind of actual assembly problems, but it all seems fine. My main thinking is that it's probably that CPU mounting. Like I just don't know what else it would be that would just make the system not respond at all. Like, it's not even like it tries to boot. Oh, that's not a great sign. I don't think I've seen that happen before. I'm guessing the CPU wasn't socketed correctly, and that's kind of the main problem that we had there. I'm gonna reinstall the retention mechanism because I don't think tape's gonna cut it. To be honest, I don't think that's gonna work. Now, unfortunately, we're gonna have to do it like real losers and have the just stock retention clip in place. Take two. I really hope it works this time. I actually think the cooler is not as well mounted as it was before. I just couldn't get it to sit the same way. But anyway, let's see if it fires up now. Ooh. Someone's touching a fan, but it is booting, so that's good. Oh yes, okay, finally we have a boot. I've sorted out the fan problem. It was the fan cable that was in the way. It actually had nothing to do with the tape job, so that's got me all impressed with myself again. Oh no, that is not good. We're already thermally throttling and we're just at idle. Oh, yeah, the tape actually let go a little bit. There was no thermal contact at all. Although our GPU temps are really good. I need to sort out that mounting. That is definitely the solution, because what was happening was that the AIO pump block was kind of pulling down like this. So I've anchored it across the top a lot better. Okay, so unfortunately, something happened at this point, which was exactly 4 minutes in, where I think the temperatures kind of hit a crucial point where the glue and the thermal paste and stuff loosened enough, and it kind of let go, because there was this sudden huge spike. So I am actually going to stop the CPU, because I don't want it to take the system down, because I am curious to see if the GPU is going to be able to survive long enough. About half an hour in, and we're doing really well on the GPU. It's been sitting at 100% load this entire time, and it's just been pegged at 60 degrees Celsius. Now, the CPU was definitely not doing as well. Even with a light load, it still kept going up to about 90 degrees Celsius, and then I'd push down on the block and it would be okay for a bit, but yeah. So the graphics card is okay, the CPU not so much. So at the end of the day, the CPU mounting was the problem. I did not expect that. I almost didn't even do the GPU because I thought it was just such an obvious waste of time. And it actually worked out really well. So the big takeaway from this video, you can actually build a gaming PC using only duct tape. You're just gonna have some problems with your CPU and CPU cooler mounting. Yeah, so with that just very useful bit of information, thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, go check out the pop-up thing or subscribe to the channel, whatever you want to do. And until the next video, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.